Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Here's a sentence you probably never expected to hear on a personal finance channel. It is possible to save too much in your 401k. I know how that sounds. Almost nobody saves enough, and here I am talking about saving too much. But there's a specific, very real trap that catches disciplined, responsible savers. The exact people who did everything right. They maxed out their 401k for decades. They were told that's the smart move. And then they arrive at retirement and discover they built themselves a tax problem, flexibility problem, and in some cases, a problem where a huge chunk of their money is locked away and expensive to touch. It even has a name now. People call it the middle class trap, where you look wealthy on paper, your net worth is high, but almost all of it is stuck inside retirement accounts you can't easily access, and the government is waiting to tax a big piece of it. This isn't a reason to stop saving. Let me be crystal clear about that up front. But it is a reason to save smarter, to spread your money across the right kinds of accounts, instead of pouring everything into one. Today I'll show you exactly how the oversaving trap works, and the concrete moves to fix it, whether you're 30 years away from retirement or standing right at the door. Let's get into it. How you can possibly oversave. First, let's define the problem, because oversaving doesn't mean you save too much money overall. You can never really have too much wealth. It means you put too much of it into one specific type of account, the traditional pre-tax 401k, and not enough anywhere else. Remember how a traditional 401k works. You get a tax deduction when the money goes in, it grows tax deferred, and then every single dollar you withdraw in retirement is taxed as ordinary income. That deal is great when your income is high and you want the deduction now, but it creates three problems if you overdo it. Problem one is the tax time bomb. All that money comes out taxable and you don't fully control when. Problem two is access. That money is locked up until 59 and a half without penalties, which is a disaster if you want to retire early. And problem three is that required withdrawals eventually force money out on the government's schedule, not yours. Let's take these one at a time because each one has a fix. Problem one, the tax time bomb. Here's the trap that surprises people most. A large traditional 401k isn't entirely your money. You have a silent partner, the IRS, and they haven't collected their share yet. Say you retire with $1 million in a traditional 401k. That's not $1 million of spending power. Every dollar you pull out gets taxed as ordinary income. Depending on your tax situation, a meaningful slice of that million belongs to the government. You just haven't paid them yet. And it gets sharper because of something called required minimum distributions, or RMDs. Starting at age 73, the government forces you to withdraw a percentage of your traditional accounts every year, whether you need the money or not. The bigger your balance, the bigger the forced withdrawal. Here's how that becomes a real problem. Someone who saved aggressively might be forced to withdraw $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year in their 70s, on top of Social Security and any pension. That can push them into a higher tax bracket than they were in during some of their working years. It can make more of their Social Security taxable. It can raise their Medicare premiums, all because the money was forced out on a schedule they didn't choose. That's the tax time bomb. You spent decades deferring taxes, and now they all come due at once, on the government's timetable, at rates you can't fully control. The person who did everything right by maxing their pre-tax 401k every year is often the person most exposed to this. Problem two, the money is locked up. The second problem hits anyone who wants to retire before the traditional age of 59 and a half. And this is where the middle class trap name really comes from. If almost all your wealth is in a traditional 401k, you technically can't touch it before 59 and a half without paying a 10% penalty on top of the taxes. So you could have $1 million net worth and still feel broke at 50 because the money's behind a wall. This is the cruel irony for early retirement. The people most likely to want to retire early are often the exact people who save so hard in their 401k that they can't actually reach the money to do it. High net worth, no access, rich on paper, stuck in practice. Now, and this is important because the trap has escapes, there are legal ways to get to that money early without the penalty. There are two main ones, and if early retirement is your goal, you need to know they exist. The first is called a Roth conversion ladder. Each year in early retirement, when your income is low, you convert a chunk of your traditional 401k into a Roth IRA and pay the tax on it at that low rate. Then, and here's the key rule, after that converted money has sat for 5 years, you can withdraw it penalty-free, even before 59 and a half. So you build a ladder, convert this year, access it in 5 years, and repeat. It becomes a rolling pipeline of penalty-free money that bridges you from early retirement until the normal rules kick in. The second option is called a 72T, or substantially equal periodic payments. This lets you take a fixed schedule of withdrawals from your retirement account before 59.5 without the penalty. The catch is it's rigid. Once you start, you're locked into that payment schedule for at least 5 years or until you turn 59.5, whichever's longer, and breaking it triggers retroactive penalties. So it's powerful, but inflexible. The takeaway? The money isn't truly trapped, but escaping the trap requires planning years in advance, which is exactly why understanding this early matters so much. Problem 3, no tax flexibility in retirement. The third problem is subtler, but it's the one that quietly costs the most. If all your money is in one type of account, you have no levers to pull in retirement. The wealthiest, most tax-efficient retirees aren't the ones with the biggest single account. They're the ones with money spread across 3 different tax buckets. Because that variety lets them control their tax bill every single year, Bucket 1 is tax-deferred, your traditional 401k and IRA, taxed when you withdraw. Bucket 2 is tax-free, your Roth IRA and Roth 401k, and your HSA. No tax when you withdraw. Bucket 3 is taxable, a regular brokerage account. You've already paid income tax on this money, and you only owe the lower capital gains rate on the growth. When you have all 3, you get to choose each year where your spending money comes from, which lets you manage exactly what tax bracket you land in. Need to keep your income low 1 year to qualify for a health insurance subsidy or avoid a Medicare surcharge. Pull from the Roth or the taxable bucket. Want to fill up a low tax bracket cheaply? Pull from the traditional account. That flexibility is worth a fortune over a long retirement. The person who oversaved in a traditional 401k has none of this. Every dollar they spend is fully taxable every year, no options. They painted themselves into a corner with the best of intentions. The fix if you're still working. So let's get practical. If you're still years from retirement, here's how you avoid the trap, climb out of it. First, always get your full employer match in the traditional 401k. That's free money and it comes first, no matter what. Nothing changes that. Second, after the match, start deliberately building your other buckets. Fund a Roth IRA for the tax-free bucket. If you have access to an HSA, max it. Remember, it's the most tax-advantaged account there is, and build a regular taxable brokerage account for flexibility and early access. Third, consider whether some of your 401k contributions should go into a Roth 401k instead of the traditional one if your employer offers it. Many do now. You give up the deduction today, but you build that priceless tax-free bucket for later. The goal isn't to stop maxing your accounts, it's to spread the maxing across different tax treatments so your future self has options. Think of it as diversifying your taxes the same way you diversify your investments. You wouldn't put all your money in one stock. Don't put all your money in one tax treatment either. And here's the encouraging part for younger viewers. You have the most valuable thing of all, which is time to get the mix right. The person who spends their 30s and 40s building all 3 buckets arrives at retirement with total control. This is one of those decisions that's almost free to get right early and expensive to fix late. The fix if you're near or in retirement. Now, what if you're already close to retirement or in it, and you look at your accounts and realize almost everything is in a traditional 401k? It's not too late. There's a specific window that's incredibly valuable, and most people waste it. That window is the gap between when you stop working and when RMDs and Social Security kick in, roughly your early 60s or earlier if you retire early. In those years, your income is temporarily low, and low-income years are golden because you can convert money from your traditional 401k to a Roth at a very low tax rate. Every dollar you convert in those low years is a dollar that won't be forced out later as a big taxable RMD. You're voluntarily draining the tax time bomb a bit at a time at rates you control before it goes off. Done well over several years, this can save someone tens of thousands of dollars in lifetime taxes and dramatically shrink those forced withdrawals at 73. The key is to do it deliberately. Convert just enough each year to fill up a low tax bracket without spilling into a higher one, and while watching out for things like Medicare premium thresholds and health insurance subsidy cliffs. This is genuinely one of the highest value moves in all of retirement planning, and it's exactly the kind of thing a good financial or tax professional earns their fee helping you optimize. The honest caveats. Now let me be balanced because I don't want anyone taking the wrong lesson from this. First and most important, for the vast majority of people, undersaving is a far bigger risk than oversaving. If you're not yet maxing your accounts, This video is not permission to slow down. Keep saving. The problem of having too much in your 401k is a problem most people would love to have. This is about optimizing a good situation, not an excuse to do less. Second, the traditional 401k is still an excellent account. The deduction is real and valuable, especially for high earners in their peak years. This isn't traditional 401k bad. It's don't put literally everything there. Third, the strategies I mentioned, conversion ladders, 72T bracket filling conversions, have real rules and real pitfalls. Get one wrong and it can cost you. This is educational content, not personalized advice, and this is precisely the area where sitting down with a qualified tax professional pays for itself many times over. And fourth, if your employer match only comes on traditional contributions or your income is too high for a Roth IRA, the specifics change. Your situation is yours. Use this as a framework for the questions to ask, not a rigid prescription. Here's the bottom line. It's possible to save too much in one place. The disciplined saver who pours everything into a traditional 401k can end up with a high net worth that's hard to access, taxed heavily on the way out and forced out on the government's schedule. That's the trap. The fix is simple to understand. Build 3 buckets, not one. Tax deferred, tax free, and taxable. Get your match, then deliberately fund a Roth and an HSA and a brokerage account so your future self has options. And if you're already near retirement with everything in pre-tax, use those low-income gap years to convert to Roth at low rates, before RMDs force the issue. None of this means saving is bad. Saving is the foundation of everything. It just means that where you save is almost as important as how much. The person who gets both right doesn't just retire wealthy on paper, they retire wealthy with control. And control when it comes to taxes and access is what actually lets you enjoy the money you work so hard to build. If this gave you a new way to think about your accounts, do me a favor and subscribe. Net Worth Nation is for people who want to understand not just how to build wealth, but how to keep it and actually use it. Drop a comment below. Is most of your money in a traditional 401k, or do you have the bucket spread out? And has anyone ever explained the RMD tax trap to you before? I read every comment and your questions become future videos. Please share if you can. If you know someone who's proudly maxing their 401k every year and has never heard of any of this, share this video with them. A little planning now could save them a fortune later. I'll see you in the next one. Let's build.